You ever wonder if there's a way to grow your money where the government isn't constantly taking a slice of the pie? Well, it turns out, tucked away deep inside the tax code, there's a section that's been called a sacred cow. It's an incredibly powerful tool for tax-free wealth accumulation. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and unlock the power of Section 72E.
You know, for most of us, investing feels like a game of red light, green light, right? You have a great year, you sprint forward, maybe you make a 12% or 15% gain, and then, bam, red light. The market dips, or even worse, the tax bill arrives, and you're forced to take a few giant steps back. It's this frustrating cycle, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And this just nails the problem perfectly. You see that awesome 12% gain on your statement, and you feel great. But then, after taxes take a huge bite and fees nibble away a little more, that amazing 12% gain is suddenly more like a 7% gain. Think about that. You have to earn 12 just to keep 7. It feels like you're running on a treadmill.
But what if there was a way to get out of that game? Well, that brings us to Section 72E. And what's so important to understand here is that this isn't some sneaky loophole somebody found. Nope. This is a deliberate incentive put there by the government on purpose to reward people for being financially responsible.
So what is this thing exactly? Put simply, Section 72E is all about permanent life insurance. See, unlike the term insurance you might be familiar with, these policies have a savings component, what they call cash value. And Section 72E is the rule that says, as this cash value grows, you don't pay any tax on the growth. Year after year, it can just compound, totally untouched by the IRS.
Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would the government give up all that tax money? Well, the logic is actually pretty smart. They want to encourage you and me and everyone to take care of our own families. If we have things like life insurance to provide for our loved ones, we're a lot less likely to need government help down the road. So this tax break, it's basically a reward for planning ahead.
And that's exactly why this part of the tax code is considered so untouchable. It's a cornerstone of the government's strategy to encourage people to be self-reliant. In Washington circles, it's known as a sacred cow.
Okay, so if this has been around forever, what's the big deal? Well, the story gets really interesting back in the 1980s. A brokerage firm, E.F. Hutton, had this totally revolutionary idea. They looked at life insurance and basically decided to flip the whole concept right on its head.
See, for decades, the goal of life insurance was simple. Get the biggest death benefit you could for the smallest possible monthly payment. That's it. But the folks at E.F. Hutton asked the crazy question. Wait a second. What if we did the exact opposite? What if we designed a policy for the least amount of insurance the IRS would let us get away with, and then crammed in the most money the IRS would let us contribute?
By doing this, they realized the entire purpose of the policy would transform. It would stop being just a safety net, and it would become something else entirely. It would turn into a cash cow.
So here's how the strategy works in a nutshell. First, you basically overfund the policy. You put in the maximum premium you're allowed to. Then, because you've designed it for the minimum amount of actual insurance, most of that money gets funneled directly into that cash value account. This creates a really powerful investment engine that's then supercharged by Section 72E, letting it grow and compound year after year completely tax-free.
Okay, that's all great in theory, but let's look at a real story to see just how powerful this can be. Now, this is definitely an ideal case, but it's a true story about a couple who used this exact strategy, and the results were just incredible.
So back in 1980, this couple took their entire life savings, $500,000, and they put it into one of these specially designed policies. Now just watch what happened. Because of that tax-free compounding, and they got great returns averaging around 10% after costs, their money just about doubled every 7 years. So that $500,000 became $1 million. Then that $1 million doubled to $2 million. Then $2 million doubled to $4 million. And then that $4 million doubled to $8 million.
And here is the absolute most important part of this whole story. Every single dollar of that growth, from that first $500,000 all the way up to $8 million, was completely 100% tax-free. No red light, green light, no steps backward, just pure, uninterrupted, forward momentum. So what's the bottom line here? I mean, just look at this comparison. The difference is absolutely staggering. Now, to be clear, this strategy isn't a magic bullet. These policies can have higher fees and surrender charges if you need the money early. But for this couple, over this long period of time, wow, the power of uninterrupted, tax-free growth just blew a standard investment out of the water.
So we've seen how Section 72E can let you build a fortune, all while shielding it from taxes. But that leaves us with one final and really critical question. It's awesome that the money can grow tax-free, but how do you actually get your hands on it? How do you access it tax-free? Because that, my friends, is the key to the whole puzzle.